The Ukrainian president has softened his position on giving up Ukrainian land to Russia as part of a potential peace deal. Volodymyr Zelensky says any settlement proposal which hands over Ukrainian land would be rejected, but Ukrainian territory in Russia's control could be on the table. Now, this, of course, comes as Donald Trump says he would raise it during his meeting with the Russian president this week.
There'll be some swapping, there'll be some changes in land, and the word that they will use is, they make changes. We're going to change the lines, the battle lines. Russia's occupied a big portion of Ukraine. They've occupied some very prime territory. We're going to try and get some of that territory back for Ukraine.
Joining me now is Director at Strategic Analysis Australia, Michael Shoebridge. Michael, good to see you. Thanks for joining me. This is quite a concession by Ukraine on land. Do you think Donald Trump will indeed be successful in getting land back to Ukraine as part of any sort of deal?
Well, let's see. But the big danger here is that Donald Trump thinks this is like two real estate developers, him and Putin, meeting and doing some kind of development deal over property. It's a much deeper, more difficult thing than that. Putin wants to grab well-defended chunks of Ukraine around the Donbass to make attacking Ukraine easier. So Trump has to avoid that. And there are a whole lot of other big issues, like where are the thousands of Ukrainian children that Putin's forces have abducted? And what about the devastation that Putin's forces have caused to Ukrainian cities and the Ukrainian population? So it can't just be some kind of land deal, and Ukraine has to be at the table.
Yeah, look, it's very, very complicated. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out, and of course with European involvement as well. Now, look, I want to ask you about this incident in the South China Sea. A Chinese warship ploughed into its own Coast Guard vessel, which was chasing a Philippine vessel yesterday. China confirmed that a confrontation took place and accused the Philippines of forcibly intruding into Chinese waters. Michael, I just think that this vision is absolutely extraordinary. How does something like this happen?
Well, there's a lack of control in the Chinese Coast Guard and the Chinese Navy, and that will disturb China's leader, Xi Jinping. He's told his Coast Guard and Navy to be aggressive when it encounters others. Our Navy has found them like that. But this is really a massive own goal, a massive loss of prestige for the Chinese military and Coast Guard. And I tell you what, the Philippines captain that manoeuvred so cleverly and successfully really shows high quality captaining of his vessel.
Yeah, good point. I just think that fascinating vision. Now, the Defence Minister Richard Marles was in Papua New Guinea today finalising a new bilateral defence treaty. The minister also handed over 12 armoured land cruisers to the PNG Defence Force. Michael, we know that this is all to counter China's growing influence in the region. Can you tell us more details about whether this deal is going to be good for us, and is Australia doing enough?
I think it is good for us and it's good for Papua New Guinea. We are really each other's security partners, and it's good that Papua New Guinea wants to get closer with us in defence terms. We'll probably see Richard Marles go to the rebuilt Lombrum Naval Base. I wish we'd built a bigger base for Australia and PNG and others to use. So it's good news, but handing over a few up-armoured land cruisers shows really there's so much we could be doing with our PNG partner.
Yeah, fair enough. Now, let's talk about what I believe is Anthony Albanese's disgraceful and shameful decision to recognise a Palestinian state at the United Nations General Assembly next month. This, of course, goes against the position of the United States and Donald Trump at the moment, which could prove costly, as Albo still can't get a meeting with the leader of the free world. Michael, do you think it does put us in a worse position with the Trump administration?
Well, yes, I do, because, sure, lots of other countries have recognised a Palestinian state, a state that does not exist. But Australia choosing to do this right now is really going to be watched closely by Washington. They are not going to do this. And that's because, unlike our Prime Minister, They know that the Palestinian Authority, that our Prime Minister says is going to magically reform itself, not be corrupt, demilitarise Hamas and all these other magical things, the Americans know that's not going to happen. So really, if the Prime Minister wanted peace in Gaza, he'd be talking maybe that idea from Macron about a UN-backed security force, maybe saying Australia would contribute. But the Prime Minister is not serious. He's just after the sugar rush of people applauding him.
So, I mean, what does it say then about our alignment with the United States? Are we increasingly moving away from that and are moving away from a united position on important matters like this from our closest ally?
Well, yes. I mean, look at the Prime Minister's trip to China, where he said, this is a fantastic relationship. We need to grow our economic entanglement even further, right when Trump is saying, gosh, we need to start moving away from China economically. So we're out of step on China. We're certainly miles out of step when it comes to the Middle East. And we've had the Prime Minister giving odd speeches about how strong we are by refusing to lift our own weight in defence. So I think Washington will be looking with bemusement and puzzlement at the Albanese government.
Yeah, and it's just such a shame it's happening with our number one ally, a long-standing ally. So we'll watch this one closely. Michael Shoebridge, always appreciate your insights and analysis. Thanks so much for joining me.